Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Alright, gonna let this populate. It's rather abysmal card last night. I didn't watch it. I didn't. I said I wasn't going. I said that on the other live. Rob was good. I said that on the other live that I was not going to watch Kofi versus what's his name? Kofi versus Rice. I said I wasn't gonna watch that shit. Like, bro, y'all wildin'. I'm old. You think I want to stay up to see a card like that? Andre Durrell versus Brooker, Kofi versus Rice? Nah, dog. I'm old. It's a lot of other shit I'd rather be doing than that. Zoo can't, yo, talk about it. I don't know. I mean, look, a lot of people. I'm not gonna be cheap. A lot of people came at me over how I was scoring. Charlo. I appreciate that, George. A lot of people came at me over how I was scoring Charlo versus Castano. So I'm not gonna come at Dougie too crazy, but it's like that fight wasn't hard to score, man. Like it really wasn't. Like Lee Wood was controlling that whole shit. Like it wasn't hard to score. Like, but you know, let the list populate. IBR, what's good? Don Ricardo, what's good? I want everybody to post your flag, post where you're from, post where you're at when you enter the chat. Based on the metrics, the relay is world renowned, apparently. From Ireland to Canada to America to Ghana to Australia to New Zealand to far out parts out there. I didn't even know people watch boxing. Barbados, shout out to Barbados. So post where you're from, post where you're at. Connor, what's good? JNR, what's good? Roman, what's good? AJ, but yeah, I'm not gonna go over the fight camp card just yet. I want to do a recap on that. I want to actually make a video on that. I just kind of wanted to shoot the shit about what I've been seeing on Twitter the last couple of days since Canelo versus Plant collapse, and how I'm like, yo, I don't know who these people think this shit is gonna work on. Like, it's not gonna work, dog. You're not gonna convince people. Like, you just not. It's not gonna work. Like, for real, man. Like, I don't know. Like I seen some dude named, what was his name? Dallas. He was talking about Errol Spencer's the face of boxing. Then why he the B-side to Manny Pacquiao? I'm like, yo, what's wrong with y'all, man? Appreciate that, base the kid in the gym, so can't participate. I appreciate that, bro. But it was a dude. He was like, yo, Errol Spencer's the face of boxing. Like, how he the face of boxing? He the B side to Manny Pacquiao. Like, it's childish, man. And you know, like I don't want to get too off topic, but when I see that, I view those kinds of individuals, those kinds of irrational, emotional, nonsensical individuals as a microcosm for the state of the American populace. That you have these people, they're running around, they don't make no kind of fucking sense, they don't have no critical thinking skills, and it's scary that you have full-grown adults that they mind operate like that. They're like, yo, dog, why would if you can't wrap your mind around something as simple as that? I shudder to think how you are when it comes to important stuff and real stuff and day-to-day stuff. Because it's obvious that Errol Spence is not the face of boxing. Like that's obvious, bro. That is obvious. I bet there are people in Mongolia. It could be IBR, very well could be. But I'm like, yo, it's wild. Like, that's like I don't want to argue with people on Twitter anymore. People try to argue with me and I just post GIFs and laugh at their ass. That's why I don't want to argue with people, because I'm like, are you too stupid for me to argue with you, bro? Like, you're too stupid. Like, you're too dumb. And it's not because I'm so smart, it's because you're that dumb. I'm smart enough not to argue with you, but this shit is wild, bro. Boardroom Bully was good. Slide Encounter was good. Lorenzo, aye. Fistiana, aye. Alejandro, how do you think the dude beat Zoo Man, forget it. I mean, look, it's nothing against Lee Wood. It's nothing against Lee Wood because I don't mean this to disparage him. But Navarrete is just a different animal. And remember, that was featherweight. Isn't Navarrete at Wait, Navarrete's at featherweight now. Yeah, what am I talking about? Navarrete's got the WBO at featherweight. But it's levels, bro. It's levels. Like Navarrete's an animal, dog. Like that dude is an animal. There's no way. There's no way. Like I wouldn't have gave Kansu any kind of odds to beat Navarrete. He ain't got the punch to keep him off. So Darrell, yeah. We gotta, man. I'm about to shoot you this link, Rob. I'm about to shoot you this link so we could chop it up on that because the prophecy is being fulfilled. The prophecy, like yo, dog. I'm gonna just wait. I'm gonna see if Rob click it. If Rob don't click it, then I'll start the conversation. But I seen that. Anthony Darrell called him out, and I'm like, see. Yo, I swear to God, if it works out the way I think it's gonna work out, that's gonna be messed up, man. That is gonna be messed up. Like, I'd like to see Canelo Bivol. Well, look, Canelo Bivol, Canelo better beef. Canelo Golovkin 3 even. People don't want to understand that just because you sweet on a fighter, it don't mean the world give a shit. Like I got a guy, he's a good guy, punch quote. He real sweet on Andre. Yo, look, Andre versus Canelo is cool. So is Canelo versus Bivol. So is Canelo versus Better Beef. You want people to be mad that he not fighting who you want him to fight when nothing about the fighter you like stands out. All right, we got Lorenzo Lewis in the building. Lorenzo Lewis, I'm feeling it.
Yeah, what's up? How's it going?
Chilling. Yeah, I can hear you. Chilling, man.
Yeah. Now, the Rice fight ended up actually being the best fight last night. Like,
your sound is going in and out, Lorenzo. I can't really hear you if you're talking right now.
you know,
All right, I can hear you now. But your sound is going in and out. UK Rob, you saw what I don't think you were surprised when you saw that, were you? That Anthony called him out. I don't think you were surprised.
No.
So I'm gonna ask you a question.
It's kind of, I don't know. I feel like it's been the script before, like the fight was even, like it's the rehearsals.
No, I 100% agree. And T Street, shout out to T Street. T Street controversy of Fight View 360. His prophecy is that Caleb Plant is gonna lose that belt to Anthony Darrell. What do you think about that?
Oh man, I don't know if that bit's in the script, but
listen,
crazy.
Bektamir Melakuziev got knocked out by Gabriel Rosado. Anything can happen. This is boxing.
True.
Anything can happen.
True.
And before I pass it to you, I don't rule that out because you have to think about the psychology of a fighter. You're not really giving Caleb something to shoot for with the way that you're doing things. And if he loses the Canelo fight to end up in a Darrell fight, bro, that's like a wet fart. That's like for real, like a wet fart. Like, bro, did I just lose the Canelo fight to fight Darrell? What do you think, man?
I get the the motivation might have dropped, but I don't know. You've been saying it. I've been saying it to my circle of boxing friends and stuff. The Plant's just going to fuck around and end up getting beat up for a hell of a lot less money than he would have got for getting beat up against Canelo. So I don't necessarily blame Plant for any of this. I think it's internal sort of network stuff. Whether Fox are actually going to go out of the business of boxing, because they don't need boxing. They've got plenty of other stuff. But I just feel Plant definitely wanted to fight, I think. And I kind of feel for the guy, really. It's like they're not backing him. I just don't see why then he can't go. Well, can we look at it and can I just go over to DAZN then? If we can't do it on my network, let me go over to theirs. Don't deny me this fight. I don't know.
I'll say this. I'll say this. I think that PBC is doing themselves a great disservice with the island policy, because if what you need are numbers and what you need is content for big fights, what you could do is, okay, send us Charlo. Send us Demetrius Andrade. Send us him. We'll do a Fox pay-per-view, and we'll do that on Fox, and then we'll send you Plant, because it's an obvious situation. I understand it from a business stance that these are your guys, this is your content, so you don't want to just give it away, and I understand that. But what you're doing is not working. Nobody cares about them fights you be. Look at the undercard for Spence versus Pacquiao.
Yeah. Victor Ortiz and who was it?
Oh my god.
Shit, I can't even think of who it is.
It's fucking Robert Guerrero, bro.
Yeah, the Ghost. That's why I couldn't think. The Ghost. Oh my god.
Oh my god. On the undercard of a pay-per-view in 2021.
I know. We're in some time warp.
You know, people get mad. People get mad at Eddie Hearn's cards, and I'm like, I don't know why when it don't cost you $80. I mean, am I missing something? Like yesterday's card, I liked it. Why? Because it doesn't cost an arm and a leg, and it's the middle of the afternoon. It's a good card. Yeah, I'll take CBS versus McCarthy in the middle of the afternoon. That's all right. And it don't cost me nothing. Well, it did, but you know what I mean? It don't cost me a lot. Whereas you want me to $80, huh? For Victor Ortiz? Really?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I always see it online. I always see it like the Eddie Hearn. And I see a lot of American, and they're like, who's that guy? Who's that guy? And I get it. I look at the card last night on PBC. I know Michael Coffey. Outside of that, and Joey Spencer, I know Joey Spencer.
I'm not
I don't really know the journeys of these other guys on the card, so I'm not like fully invested. I just like watching boxing. So if I'm awake at that time and I can find a stream, because no one here picked that card up, obviously, but I'll watch it because I enjoy boxing. I've been staying up watching Olympic boxing, whatever. I'll tune in if it's available to me, but I get it, like, oh, who's that guy? Who's that guy? But, it's not always about, like, I find with Americans, it's like anything outside of America, it's like, oh, what's that? What's that?
It is xenophobia. It is xenophobia. But just it's a common sense argument. Look, I'm almost 40 years old, dog. At 9 o'clock, I already start getting sleepy just because I'm old. You think I want to stay up to see Joey fucking Spencer? Really? Like,
Morning,
bro,
fellas.
like,
how y'all doing?
all right, what's good? You think I want to see Joey Spencer or Andre Durrell after 19 months of inactivity? Like this, like you can't be serious, bro. Like 19 months of inactivity. You think I give a fuck about him versus Brooker?
No, I get you. And I always like the fact over here we have people from debut. We're seeing them on their debut. Now I get the argument, say like a Campbell Hatton, like, does he necessarily have to be on TV, or get the record built a little bit away from TV, do some of these fights off TV? But I kind of like seeing the journey from pro debut to however far these guys are going to get. Like, for instance, I've seen Conor Benn from his professional debut, and now he's like one of the most exciting guys we've got over here in the UK.
And you know why I'm not hard on Campbell? Because of Conor. After the Chris Paynoud fight, the first one, or is it Chris or whatever? The
Cedric.
kickboxer, Cedric Paynoud. A lot of people wrote off Conor after that one fight. They had two fights, but the night of the fight, everybody was talking shit. And I'm like, yo, give the fucking kid a break, dog. Like, he doesn't have a lot of fights. No, and that's how I feel about Campbell. That I'm like, yeah, Campbell don't look like the finished product, but why would he? He debuted this year.
Yeah. I mean, I think hopefully the difference will come with the new DAZN broadcast team. I found Sky very much, the Ricky Hatton's his dad, everything he'd done with Ricky Hatton, and it at times I was listening to Rob Tebbit, Boxing Social. He was on, he'd done a Twitter space earlier, and he was saying, and it always was like, oh, but we can't get carried away, we know who his dad was. And then as soon as Campbell would land a body shot, they're like, oh my God, it was like his dad, the king of the, and it's like, stop comparing him to his dad. Let him do his own thing. And Conor, to a degree, has had the same, but hopefully I think the DAZN broadcast, I think even Chris Lloyd mentioned maybe Campbell just goes away, not necessarily off TV, but on a lower card, maybe some of that Fight Zone app for like, a lower level sort of promoter, just get a couple of these victories under his belt. If people want to still watch, they can tune in, but it's not on a big card, huge exposure, constant pressure, constantly being asked about, oh, do you feel pressure, because who you are, who your dad is. But I personally like seeing the journey from start to end, however far he's going to get. Same with Conor, like you say, the Payno fight. That was one of the best 6-round fights I've ever seen.
Exactly.
Just knockouts, excitement. But yeah,
you don't normally get 6-round fights that have ebbs and flows and seesaw action, and you're biting your nails because you don't know what's gonna happen. That was to me. Yeah, he didn't look great, but it's not my job for him to look great. It's my job to see, is it entertaining? Yes, it was entertaining. Now Joey Spencer. No, bro. Like this has there's no quality control in America anymore. Michael Kofi, Andre Durrell, Joey Spencer, fucking Ugas versus. See this, and before I pass it to Jay, and well, first let me address the super chat. Random question: what is your reaction to some of the backlash Nonito Donaire received for pulling out of the John Riel Casimiro fight? In regards to the disrespect, well, once again, and I'm going to just try to keep this as concise as possible. It's not just the disrespect; it's the lack of transparency. They were obviously playing games when it came to the anti-doping tests. You're not going to tell me that not you, but if you're Sean Gibbons and you're John Riel Casimiro and all these people, you're not going to tell me you don't know the difference between contracting VADA for a fight specifically and the clean boxing program. It's not the same thing. They're offering to pay for your testing, and you're playing games and you're saying shit and making memes. And it's like, all right, bro, you don't want this fight then. Because that's how I would have treated the shit. Don't play with my time. You don't want this fight if you playing these games. And I'm not going to sit here and play with you when I could get more money fighting him again. He could get more money fighting Inoue. So ultimately, I think they made the right decision. And the only people that's really mad about this are the same people that are angry that Al Heyman couldn't get Canelo, because that's what it's all about. They wanted Nonito's title to get stuck over there on PBC Island so that he knew he wouldn't be able to fight for it. That's what they wanted. The same way they want fucking Canelo to go over there so they could doll up they whack-ass cards and they whack-ass fighters that suck. All right? The only fighter over there worth talking about right now is David Benavidez. And I'm praying to the boxing gods that he get the hell away from them people. Get away from them people, man. Trying to tell you. All right, now I'm gonna pass it to Jay. Jay, what did you think of last night's sensational card between Michael Polite Kofi and the notorious, the furious Jonathan Bowler Rice?
Well, Johnny Rice showed me why I don't drink coffee. So, I cut off he reminded me why you shouldn't drink coffee. But but coffee got, oh my God, man, that was it's funny. We was talking about this on the live. I didn't see that coming. Yesterday was the day of upsets, man. I mean, I don't know what's going on. This is crazy. And I'm watching this like, what am I seeing? Like do something. I'm like, I mean, just
no.
Oh, he got it. I mean, I'm like,
what happened to Michael? Yeah. What happened to Michael is what happened to Darmani. What happened? We was hearing about Darmani Rock for a little while. Like I'll say the last 2-3 years, I'd see his name thrown around. Him. Who else? Who's the kid? Cassius Chaney. It was a couple of kids here in America, unbeaten kids that you hearing about them. And what happened to Michael Kofi is the same thing, more or less, that happened to Darmani. It was your time. Like you got to a certain point, and that's what happened. You know what I mean? Like now we know that. All right, well, you not really cut out for what comes after
this type, this type of level. Yeah, I mean, because like what I'm learning about, like you cannot underestimate these guys. About like losses on their records because they upset you. They really could. I mean, like you can't write these guys off, and like I just don't get it with the PBC because I mean, I remember like because I told you yesterday, and one guy was one guy was saying how pretty much like how you rather pay more for PBC cards instead of his own cards, and I'm like that makes no damn sense. Like I don't
bro,
like what.
Bro, think about it. Think about it. We saw, and Dan Raphael said it. Well, I said it first, to be honest, but he echoed that sentiment. We saw Canelo Alvarez 3 times in a span of 5 months. 2 of those fights were world title fights against unbeaten champions. And at no point did it come to $240. It didn't. So why the fuck would I, as a consumer, advocate to pay more to see Canelo when I don't benefit from that? Bill Wenger benefits from that. Fox and the PBC, I don't benefit from that. So what kind of mutant would say, yeah, man, you should have went to the CBP? Shut the fuck up, bro.
What, you know what it is? I mean, the funny, what is the guy who tweeted that is probably not paying at all. He's streaming. So
I said that. I said that before I passed it to South London. I said that look, there's no way as a paying customer you're going to advocate to pay more for the same thing. Why? That's like if I could get a pair of Timbs for $140, why the fuck would I want to pay $240 for them? Make it make sense. Exactly. Why would I want to pay more? South London, what do you think about it?
What in relation to people paying extra for Canelo fights and stuff?
Yeah, the mutant committee that seems to want to convince the world that we should want to pay more for the same thing.
Yeah, I mean these guys are probably like like kept women, like you pay their price every month. Because I don't quite get why you want to pay more to see certain fights. I mean, if I could watch Undisputed on DAZN, that would be sick. Especially if it was at no extra cost. That would be sick. It might not happen. In the ideal world, it would be nice, but it might not happen. But for the general to watch, as an example, the Charlos and Spence and all these other guys, most of the time they're fighting, the people that they're fighting don't belong on pay-per-view, or they've not amassed that level of pay-per-view freedom to just be able to fight anyone like a Canelo on a pay-per-view. To be fair to Canelo, he does fight decent fighters. He rarely fights guys that, like, I didn't really know too much. I didn't really think Yildirim, but all the other fighters in a row, he's actually been fighting decent top level composition. So
let me add this. Let me add this before I pass it back to Rob. That same Avni Yildirim, who everybody was, how could Canelo fight him? Anthony Durrell was fighting him, right? And that he gave Anthony Durrell a lot of problems, right? Right? This is facts.
Yeah.
Now he was the mandatory before Canelo even sneezed at the WBC title. They were setting it up to where David was supposed to fight Avni, and David blew the weight. So I'm like, motherfuckers need to stop. Oh, Canelo's fighting out. Yo, you would have been perfect. You was perfectly okay watching Anthony Durrell fight his fucking ass. And you would have had to watch David fight his fucking ass. Let Canelo fight him, and you want to complain, and I don't know why, because it's not a pay-per-view. When he fought Avni, it wasn't a pay-per-view. So why would I complain? Why he just fought an unbeaten champion, not but 2 months before that fight? I mean, 2.5 months or some shit? I'm like, dog, this is getting so petulant and childish in America that I'm like, yo, maybe I should move, dog. Maybe I'm too mature to be a fucking American. Rob, what do you think about it?
Yeah, you can come over. You can come over. We'll let you. You've got an honorary UK badge.
It's wild. Like, how could we complain about Yildirim versus Canelo when they was perfectly okay with Anthony? And I seen Jevin, that PBC nut hugger on Twitter. He was like, Canelo gonna have to see the dog. But like, seriously? Canelo has really?
The dog.
Marie, you know what's funny? Because Danny Garcia with the distance with Red Catch, right?
Mhm.
If Terrence Crawford did that exact same thing, his
Imagine.
just imagine if he did the same thing. If he went the distance with Red Catch, he'd be getting destroyed over that by haters.
Listen. This is how I know they don't watch boxing. I have a theory because I'm a trained CIA mentalist, right? So I got a
Yep.
theory. It's either these people do not watch boxing, which I don't believe because every weekend they're there. So that's not it. It's either they don't watch boxing or they are members of the PBC's social media team because what they're saying makes absolutely no sense in terms of boxing math. You're okay with Danny Garcia going 12 with Ivan Redkach. You know who stopped Ivan Redkach? John Molina. You know who stopped John Molina? Terrence Crawford. But we're going to sit here and talk about Danny's solid,
Oh,
man.
Tevin Farmer schooled Ivan Redcatch over 10 rounds. Tevin
Bruh,
Farmer.
Deja's
I like
Letitia needs to stop that dude at 135. But we gonna sit here and play these fucking games. Like these is games. Like
it's like funny. You can't even get mad anymore. All you can do is just laugh, really. You know what I mean? I'm just at that point where like, oh, this shit is just hilarious. You know what I'm saying? It's just so funny.
look, it was a dude that came up to me yesterday on Twitter. It was a dude, he added me. He's like, oh, y'all wasn't like that when Anthony Joshua turned down the fake 50 million. And before I even get into why it was fake, I'm like, well, no, before I even do that, I catch myself and I'm like, you know what was funny? When Wilder admitted they offered him 2 times that amount to get his ass beat. That was funny.
Do you know what? This is what people who bring up the 50 million. You always have to say that, but he just turned down career high money, and he said it. Like, don't go into but it was a fake offer. All of that's long. Just go to the part where he just admitted it.
I mean, all that's irrelevant because, like, in my mind, right, you can't justify turning down over $100 million. You just can't do it. I mean, like, if they sent me that offer, I'm not even a trained boxer, and I'd have signed up for it immediately. Okay, I'll go over there. I'll gladly get knocked out with a smile on my face.
Anthony Joshua could offer me half that amount, and he could come here right now and punch me in my face in my living room for 50 million. Yes,
I'd be going down with a smile on my face, like, I'm going out after this. I'm buying a car. I'm buying a mansion.
I'm a Eric Molina the shit. I'm a Eric the first hard punch that lands. I'm going down. Like, all right, you won, bro. Can I get the check? Can I get the check?
I'll take 10%. To be honest,
you better take that Cam seriously. Take that Cam seriously if he's coming for me.
Because it's funny because Edgar Berlanga was taking the distance right for the first time with that Nicholson guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard people criticizing his performance, and I'm like, well, it's not like he didn't beat the absolute crap out of the guy, drop him multiple times, and nearly knock him out in the last 10 seconds of the fight. I mean, like, so what is there to criticize, really? Yeah, he went the distance, big deal. I mean, it's good that he went the distance. He needs to get rounds in.
Thank you, because it's a common sense argument. When Bruce Trampler was on the Boxing Voice with Joe Habib and a lot of other guys, he said it himself. That was a developmental fight. I'm like, yeah, because he needs the rounds. He can't keep knocking these guys out in the first half of the first.
In one round.
He's not going to learn nothing from that.
He said, didn't he? The guy hasn't even sat on the stool yet and taken any instructions from his corner for round 2. So you know what I mean?
I'm talking like Andre. What's his name? Andre Rosie. Talking about like, oh yeah, he made him do push-ups for knocking the guy out in the front. I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, it's like if he wants to, he could let the fight go on, but it's like, I mean, yeah, the bottom line, he needs to develop. That's why, like, I was kind of skeptical. He needs to go rounds. He really does. Because he can't keep getting to like 20-0, 26-0 first week. I mean, that's not realistic.
That first round knockout stuff, right? It's a gift and a curse. And anybody who follows this sport knows that's a gift and a curse. Because one day somebody's going to be in front of you and they're not going to go down or they're not going to stay down. And you're going to feel weird. So it's good that Edgar went the distance with that guy. That first round knockout shit is overrated. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, and that's the thing, like, with Conor Benn. Just bringing it back to Conor Benn, like, he had the Payno fight, he got squared up a couple of times, a couple of, knockdowns, and he came back, went the distance with the guy, but got boxed his head off a bit, and got that win. So there's still, like, some question marks, there's still an answer. As you go up the levels, one day he's going to let all those explosive punches go. And I could see like a Sean Porter just swallowing them up and saying, right, let's go. Come on, let's go. And that's exactly like what a Belanga needed. Someone was there. I know he knocked the guy down a few times, but he got back up and was like, come on, let's do this. So it's just exactly what you need. So to see these fighters, like I was saying, from pro debut, and you think, oh, no, that guy's knocked him down. He's not world class. But the development and the learning, and you see it from start to finish. However far Conor Benn goes, whether he gets a world title, whether he doesn't, as the levels go, you find out. Has he got the chin? Can he hurt the top level
No,
guys?
because this is the beauty. This is the beauty, all right? Conor Benn and Tim Tszyu, isn't it a coincidence? It's kismet is what it is, that these are both the offspring of legendary fighters. Conor's the son of Nigel Benn. Tim Tszyu is the son of Kostya Tszyu. They're in a very similar situation to where the divisions they campaign in are very political. They will freeze them out if they can, but those guys' namesake gives them enough marquee value that they can still work, because people are excited about Conor, and this is the beginning. People are excited about him. People are excited about Tim Tszyu. They just No Limit Promotions announced a 3-day boxing festival that caps off with a Tim Tszyu pay-per-view. So the beauty of that is that even though the PBC is going to try to freeze them out because they have most of the belts, it's just the truth. Even though they'll try to freeze them out, that won't stop them from developing and making money and getting marquee value, because they're not just going to give Conor a shot. They're not just going to give Tim Tszyu a shot. They're going to make him jump through hoops. Look, Brian Castano, God bless him. You ain't in no position to ask Tim why he don't come over here. No, you need to go over there because he sells more over there than you do over here.
That's exactly what I was saying. I was saying that too as well. You need to go to Australia and get that boy. You know what I mean? And just fight in that stadium and get the money. That's what he need to do.
Exactly. And you better, and not for nothing, you better get him now, because if you keep letting him develop, it might get to a point. It's not a prediction. It's common sense. Get him now while he's green, because later on he won't be green. So get him now while it's a lot of money.
Castano ain't no spring chicken. He about to be 32. He's getting up there. So he's going to be more in his prime. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like, yo, he ain't no young bull. Like, nah, Castano, you a good fighter, great fighter. To me, like I said, and I said it ahead of the fight, that dude is good, man. I don't know why y'all acting like that. That dude is good, bro. This is gonna be a good fight, and it was a good fight. But you 30-something, bro. It was a good fight. It was a good fight.
I mean, that's the only reason why we got an undisputed fight at 154, because all the belts were on the PBC. If that hadn't been the case, we wouldn't have got an undisputed fight.
But why do I thank them? Because of Leo. Them being on the same side of the street, two guys being on the same side of the street don't guarantee a fight. Case in point, Leo and Gary, David and Charlo. All right. So even though I do agree with your point that, you know what, if they wasn't on the same side of the street, that wouldn't happen. I do agree with you. At least the fighters and the teams was willing to do it, because there's other fighters and other teams that won't do it. Leo should not be WBA champion. Rob, what do you think about that?
Yeah, for me, Kanzu should have been elevated by now. The WBA didn't have a problem taking it away from, a power money guy in Manny Pacquiao. They stripped him down of his.
When's the last time that Sam Cruz even defended that belt?
2 fucking years.
Over
God.
2 years. It's nearly 2.5 years since he defended.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Think about Go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say just on the you were saying about Castano, like you're saying, he's up in age now, so now is the time to go and make your money, because especially the way he fights, he's not going to have super longevity in the sport. So go and make your money. Go to Australia, and there's a 14-day quarantine period at the moment, but guess what? Go 2 weeks earlier than you were going to start camp, just like Teofimo should be doing, instead of saying, "Oh, I'm not doing that because of quarantining and shit." Just go early.
I'll say, if I'm Brian Castano and I'm the Spanish dude that was next to him, I'm like, look, y'all offered Charlo something like 10, right? All right, we want that 10. If you don't give us that 10, all right, minimum is 7. Minimum is 7. No, let's be real. Minimum is 5, because Charlo did bring more than one world title to the table. And I'm like, look, if you want me to go over there, it got to be at least 5. I know I can beat your boy. Because I've been in there with Lara, I've been in there with Michael Sorrow, I've been in there with Charlo, I've been in there with Teixeira. So I know I'm a level above him. I know I could beat him, but you got to make it worth my while. I'm not the numbers that's out there for Castaño's purse for this last fight is between 5 and 1, between 500,000 and $1 million. As a champion, all right, you want me to go over there? I'll entertain you. I'll indulge you. Give me 5. Give me 5. I go down there.
Ring, how much did they make? Did Charlo Castano make for the fight? You know, I'm not
Listen, sure. I saw, and I can only tell you the numbers that are out there. The numbers that's out there for Castaño and Charlo, for Castaño is between 500,000 and $1 million. For Charlo, I believe it's a little over $1 million, maybe 2. All right. Now the Tim Tszyu people, No Limit Promotions, they said they could get up 10 to bring Charlo down there because they thought Charlo was going to win the fight, and we see how it all turned out. But they said they could get up 10. If you could get up 10 for Charlo, all right, be like, look, Castaño, we got 5 for you. Come down here. Pay-per-view. You'll get an upside. You know, you'll make money because you ain't young. You ain't young, all right? And that Charlo rematch, who knows if you're going to get that? He got to fight a mandatory now. He got to fight Murtazaliev or some shit by way of the IBF. Yeah. So get that money.
They need to just check that contract though, because if it's Australian dollars, I don't think the conversion's very good. So, yeah, that 10 million sounds like 10 mil, but it might actually be like 1.5 and shit. So it's like, yeah, check the conversion rate on those dollar amounts.
I ain't gonna lie, like, yeah, you do got to do that though, because if you mean 10 million Australian, like, what you talking about, 10 million American or 10 million Australian? I ain't gonna lie, that's a very valid point. That's hey, look, money. Hey, the Australian dollar ain't pesos neither. You see what I mean? Like, it ain't a peso. It ain't a peso. It's just worth something. You know what I'm saying?
By the way, Ring, a quick question. Let me bounce some. What is Michael? I shouldn't be drinking too much coffee. Go from here.
I mean, where's he gonna go, bro? Like.
I don't really know. I'm not trying to laugh, but I know. Me too. I was crazy.
FS3. He needs to go to FS3.
Yeah, like he needs to go where Panamarev went, where he lost. What happened to Panamarev? Like when he lost.
It's funny. Like now, I wonder how if Gerald Washington would have knocked him out had he not contracted COVID. It makes you wonder, right? You know.
Listen, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, and I don't care what people think. It is an inferior product. It is an inferior stable. It is. I would pick almost any top-ranked fighter to beat any PBC fighter. I would. Yep. I mean, it's an inferior product. Those dudes, you got a guy who just sat out for 19 months fighting. Who the fuck is that? Right? Brooker, who the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? Jack about to leave 175 to go to cruiserweight. Why?
That's a bad idea. That's a bad idea.
Go after Joe Smith Jr. You could be like, you never know. Jack is tough. Like, go after him. Like, it's fight. Nah. We gonna send him up to what is going on here? Like, what's happening? Fucking Marcus Brown.
Wait. There was a good cruiserweight scrap on nothing like you watch it. It was a Pochi versus Glanton. You catch that?
Glanton, yeah. Good fight.
Yeah, y'all catch that? That was a good fight.
Listen,
yeah.
Listen, man. I'm like this close, and I'm not joking, to just not watching PBC cards no more, because I'm like, this is getting fucking stupid, bro. It is. Like, it's getting stupid. Chris Arreola versus Andy Ruiz. Are you fucking kidding me, dog?
Yeah, but that was
a pay-per-view.
That was only $50. Come on, you got a reduction.
Yo, dog, I'm like, what is there's no quality control. And I think that because Bill Wenger don't know boxing, he let him get away. Because if that was me, you want to put what on pay-per-view? Are you crazy?
Speaking of which, they should be ashamed of themselves for that Pacquiao Spencer card. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Bruh.
Do you think they need some younger? Do you think they need some younger people in charge over there at the PBC? Because
someone
seems like the older guys.
That's like Eddie Hearn's mindset and thinking would help. I mean, people who thought like Eddie. I mean, for one, I think they need to turn the PBC into a streaming app. That's the one thing they need to do. I think that might help.
This is what I'm gonna say.
Someone in charge of the network, not called Wanger for a start.
look, if it's me, right? And y'all know I'm a big advocate of the girl fights. If it's
Mm-hmm.
me, I sign Alicia Baumgartner. I do whatever I have to do to get Clarissa on the network. Because I know she'll do numbers. I know she will. Get her on Fox. All right. Get
Look
Alicia.
at Ring. Look at Ring trying to not let Shields Marshall happen by giving her PBC link. Jesus. You're trying to not
Yo,
make fights now. You're trying to stop fights.
I get Tiara, Alicia, Clarissa, who else? Raquel, because them dudes over there, like for one thing, a good fight is a good fight. Like maybe people don't like the idea at first till the fight start, and you see like, oh shit, they going at it. Just like you would in the street, because that's what I relegated to. If it's two broads fighting in the street, I don't care. I'm watching like, oh shit. That's me, and that's the average person. They don't want to do that. You think people at home at 10 o'clock, that's almost 40, want to watch Joey Spencer? Nah, I don't want to see that shit. From Linden, New Jersey? Nah, I don't want to see that shit. You crazy? You
I think
crazy?
with the female fights, they're very explosive. Like there's no feeling out process or anything like that. They just get straight into it,
And
and
that's
that's
why,
what I like about watching the female
yeah,
fights.
yeah. And I know there's the argument for 3 minute rounds and you'll get stoppages and highlight reel moments. But because it's 2 minutes, that's why these girls are going at it from the bow, you know?
Look
I
at
don't know.
Sandy Ryan yesterday. Look at Sandy motherfucking Ryan yesterday. Sensational.
Yep.
Sensation. Managed the shit, switched off from Orthodox to Southpaw, teeing off on old girl.
Yeah.
Sensational shit.
And Bavington was hard to look good against. She came to spoil, you know.
Yeah, because she gonna collapse the pocket. She gonna get close to you, crowd you, collapse the pocket, lean on you. It's rough. And Sandy handled that. She handled that shit. All right.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that if it's two girls fighting outside your building, you're not gonna watch it. Oh, cause they girls. You fucking knight and shining fake ass on. Like, get out of here with that chivalry shit. If they fighting, I'm watching.
Yeah, because Summer might fall out. Summer always falls out.
I mean, like you know, I mean,
Motherfucking Kitty might fall
one of the best fights, the best female fight that I saw this year was Bridges versus Courtney.
Excellent fight.
Best women's fight this year I saw.
Entertainment,
excellent fight.
just entertainment. These girls gonna put it out on the line, and they none of this feeling out bullshit. You know, 3 rounds in, it's tight.
It was a slugfest, start to finish, man.
Just go at it. Let's have it. Yeah, I like it.
I ain't gonna lie, Shannon got me mad a little bit. She don't want to give Ebony that rematch. I'm not okay with that. Like, you know what?
She don't want it.
And Rob, you know what I'm gonna say? She need to fight her again because them other girls that's out there, you don't. I'm telling you, don't want it with them, man. Don't. They get
Take that time real quick.
Yeah, let's see how it all pans out. But yeah, I'm always a fan. I mean, I don't know why any woman, especially in this country, let's see what shakes out from the Olympics. Like with Caroline Dubois, you just hope that she's not swayed because Daniel's with Frank and BT, that Caroline then decides to go and follow her brother. Why would anyone sign anywhere other than Matchroom Millie Hearn if you're a female fighter right now?
If anything, Wazerman is an option that's better than
because
Nicola Adams could have had a much more extended. I feel if Nicola would have went to Matchroom, she probably wouldn't have retired as quickly. I know that she retired because of the injury, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But I feel like Eddie would have did a better job with, because she's a 2-time gold medalist. Two of those.
Two of them.
Frank didn't, and I'm not going to knock him because at least he tried, which is more than I could say for Al Heyman. At least he tried, and he did get her to a title. So you know, if he learned from his, because I seen an interview recently where he was talking about it, and I do believe he's really talking about Caroline Dubois. That's probably who he's talking about signing. I hope she don't go over there. By the way, Caroline, if you're listening, don't go over there. You crazy? You see they just slowed down Daniel to Showtime. Frank, don't go to Frank. He a legend and Hall of Fame promoter and all that shit, but he's a fossil. He ain't got no yes.
He's trying to jump on, and I don't know that it's too late. Obviously, women's boxing is really starting to
bro. Lauren Price, bro. when these
Yeah.
Olympics is over, Lauren fucking Price, bro, Carolyn Dubois, you gonna have some hitters, all right? So I don't want them to go to Frank though. And it's like I don't want to put it all on Eddie because it's like, yo, Eddie already did mad shit. Like he doing a lot. Wiseman, you need to step up. Y'all need to step up and start signing some people. I don't know why they ain't signed Stevie Levy and them. They got girls over there that they can sign right now. Shit,
Yeah.
but that's another story. The bottom line is there is no quality control at Fox right now. They'll put any two motherfuckers headline Ugas versus a bag of Lay's potato chips. We'll see if Ugas can get the bag open.
Meanwhile, we're gonna get Beefy Smith and Andy Fowler in October.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. You know that the last fight camp, I said that's what I wanted. I want the junior middleweights that Eddie has. Let them step up and fight Beefy or Brooke, or because if it would have been Brooke, I'd have been good with that too. Fowler versus Brooke, I'd have took that too. So that's a good fight, and I am leaning towards Beefy because Beefy don't just lose.
I think you have to. Fowler's this is a huge step up, but it might just be the right time.
I'm saying,
I don't know.
Want to fight him? Didn't Tim Zoo want to fight him, Smith? He named him as one of his options, right?
Yeah, but look. If you Beefy, right, and you coming off a loss to Kurbanoff, right, you got to get back in the winner's bracket. Fowler is a more winnable fight in the UK for Beefy than Tim is in Australia. I think he could give them both hell. I think he could, but shit could get funny in Australia. Whereas if you on your own,
just come back from Russia, having been maybe given the rough end of a decision, and now you're going to go back on the road to Australia with the big domestic superstar.
You see what I mean, Rob? You see what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. Whereas he can get some nice actual hometown cooking going on in the UK. So
that's why anybody who travels over there, it's like you better knock these boys out. They'll let that fight go the distance.
But that's the truth. Yeah. It's true all over the world. Don't coast on foreign soil. Don't fucking come to America and get on your fucking back foot, bro. Don't do it. You better fight. All right? Shit.
If you're gonna do it on the back foot, you've got to do that like really clean, really well, and make it. You land honestly like we would last night. He was kind of inching backwards, everything at distance. He was landing clean, hard, solid, effective punches. I mean, obviously, the PBC will give a motherfucker a draw in a minute. James DeGale versus Badu Jack. Draw. Shit, fucking Dougie Fisher was giving it to 0 all night. I don't even know what Dougie's on some good shit.
Dougie was drinking, man. He had to pick up like, there's no way.
He was drinking battery acid. I don't know what the fuck he was
drinking. Does Jack have like 3 draws?
Jack is the draw master, bro. He's the draw master.
Yeah. That's crazy.
He could draw with a fucking hole in his head. Jesus Christ.
Bro.
Damn,
but ring right. Sorry, ring right quick. Just about the Canelo and the Plant situation. Like, what do you see Canelo doing next? I mean, Bebo's in the works, but do you think the fight is salvageable at this point? Do you really do?
Yes and no. It's salvageable because it never should have gotten to this point. Caleb Plant, you were made a offer to fight on his own. If your people at Fox cannot get it right, cross the street. It's that simple. Cross the street. It is that simple. You're not gonna tell. Look, because I can feel my blood pressure going up. Jose Ramirez crossed the street for Maurice Hooker. You can't cross the street for Canelo. You cannot. If Maurice Hooker could cross the street, I mean, if Jose Ramirez could cross the street for a Mighty Mo Hooker fight, you're not going to tell me that you're too good to cross the street for Canelo. You're not too good. Don't nobody know who you are. One of these guys is going to beat you. So you need to think about yourself, your future, and your wife. Because they ain't going to give you $10 million for no Darrell fight.
This is it.
I'm not going to lie. I can't see it. I'm not going to lie. I can't see him crossing the street.
He
just
won't,
because PBC, they move, because obviously Al Heyman came from music, right? So I'm assuming, well, not assuming, I know that he's dealt with a lot of, prima donna type of stars, yeah? So even if they're not a star on the PBC, it's almost like you fake it till you make it. So you've got people like Wilder, people like Charlo saying, oh, I'm not going to take this fight, even though you're offering them career high money. They're like, oh, well, I'm worth more than that. And even though they
Well,
don't even sell tickets and they hardly sell any pay-per-views, but yeah, they're moving like that.
It's funny the follow up on that. Why Charlo said something that Wilder did because they both came out and said something similar. Talking about like they were trying to justify why they turned down the offers they were made, and they're talking about like, oh, I make more money than that anyway. I'm like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
Where have you been making over $7 million and over like $100 million? Like, where is that been
Look,
at?
the
Like,
most I can say. Look, I can believe that they're making something back in perhaps equity in the company. I can believe that because Triple G has equity in the zone. Believe it or not, he has equity in that company. So I can believe
half his purses, right? He gets half in dollar amount and half in equity. Perfect.
Exactly. So I can believe that there's a situation like that going on. But even with that, you're in a shitty company that is not generating. You're not generating revenue with Durrell versus Ruiz versus What the hell? Fucking nah, dog. Like no.
I get it, right? Al has a commitment to his network. He's got a world champion. They obviously he's one of our guys. Whether he's known or not, he's done good numbers on Fox. But Caleb Hart's got to look at this and think, right, but you're my advisor, and you're advising me not to go over to that network for the biggest payday of my life, a chance to become undisputed. You're telling me don't go over there. If we can't get the fight done on our network, we'll just give you 4 fights and you can make that money in 4 fights. What the hell? How is that advising your client?
That is the conflict of interest, and that is. I'm so glad I get to talk to all these intelligent people because most people
like
don't
Muhammad Ali
understand.
Act shit.
I mean, like
That's what it's
the
for.
man. That just shows he's a terrible. Al Heyman is a terrible advisor. He's not a good advisor.
It's a conflict of it. This is why the manager is supposed to act on the fighter's behalf, and the promoter, he might act on the network affiliate's behalf, but they should never be one and the same because it creates a conflict of interest. You telling Caleb to turn that fight down, can you present him a fight of equal to or greater than value? Because if you can't, then you just fucked that man out of a lot of money. That's what you did. And he'll turn around and lose tomorrow, and what do he have to show for it? A bad haircut?
Well, that's happened to several PBC fighters already. Adam Konecki turned down the AJ fight, gets knocked out by Helenius. Luis Ortiz turned it down, gets knocked out by Wilder. Deontay Wilder turns down to Tyson Fury. The Anthony Joshua fight gets knocked out by Tyson Fury in a rematch. Gets stopped. I mean, it's a pattern now that's going on.
Let me answer this super chat from Napoli. How would Tim Tszyu do against Tony Harrison? Excellent fight. Tim Tszyu would have to turn it up. You got to be the aggressor. Because Tony's jab is serious, his movement is serious. The only thing that you can count against Tony is that he gets lackadaisical as the fight progresses, 100. And you got to chin him. You have to chin him because he'll beat you on points.
He will.
I think Tszyu wins that. I think Harrison just fades down the stretch and he
gets caught.
When he's winning as well, he likes a little showboat and then he gets caught again. And that's how I see it. I think Harrison's best days are behind him, and then Tszyu's on the come up.
And that Perella fight, did y'all see the Perella fight? He don't look like the guy that fought. And I like Tony, don't get me wrong, but he don't look like the guy that fought Charlo.
I thought he was going to beat Perella. I was surprised he got a draw. But he didn't. I wasn't really impressed either. So
got another one from Late Neverland. Shout out to Lorman Sokoli on the panel. Aye.
The sauce.
Yo, shout out to my man Lorman Sokoli though, because they trying to make this Breeders fight, and I'm with that.
We're getting that, man. I can't wait for that one. That's gonna be good.
Well, Lorman's has a mandatory. Breeders has a mandatory. So you're looking at either late this year or early next year, because I know that the Sarlin brothers already said Breeders, all that shit he was talking about going up to heavyweight. Fuck that shit. He's gonna fight his mandatory, and Okoli, he's got Okoli's sticking around. He's got a mandatory coming up, and then they said after that they're gonna try, and that's a great fight, by the way. That's a great fight. I do
100.
like I fuck with Lawrence, and I think Shane is really turning it around for Lawrence because now he's using his height, his reach, he's jabbing more. So that's what I always wanted to see him doing. But just because you got a good jab, don't mean you going. Breedis is a motherfucker, and he's a Capricorn like me, so I know he's a motherfucker, right? You see, he's motherfucker. He is like just because you got a good jab. Dorticos had a good jab, and you see what he did to him. Like, that shit though, he'll find a way in. He'll up jab his way in. Like he'll find a way in. So that's a tasty fucking fight. Ooh.
Yeah, I like that.
Who'd you say the top dog at cruiserweight is right now between them two?
Maris Breedis for now because he's
Agreed.
got the more accomplished. Look,
Agreed.
Lawrence has enough pop.
Yeah, definitely.
Lawrence has enough pop that if he lands clean, maybe he can stop him. Maybe. But it's hard because, look, the best 1-2 in that division is Junior Dorticos' 1-2. His jab right hand, it is the best in the division. And you see what Breedis did to him. He outclassed that dude. So they gonna really have to figure out how to get at this cat. Because he's from Latvia, he's a Capricorn. Mavis Breedis, goddammit. Right?
Do you think he's ready for those type of
Change.
fights right now?
To be honest, psychologically, I think he is. Tactically, I'm not sure because if Breedis makes it an inside fight, what is Lawrence gonna do? Clinch? If he makes it because that's what Breedis
Probably.
is gonna do. Breedis is gonna try to make it a mid-range to inside fight. And the most you can do, because Lawrence has such a big wingspan, he's gonna get off before you do. So your only option is to collapse the pocket and hold. Get back on your jab. But if you get back on your jab and he keeps slipping it and he keeps getting under and around it, and it's just going to keep repeating itself like that. So it's a tough fight, man. Tough fight. All right, we got another one.
I think the best chance that Lawrence has got is to fight from long range. That's the best, just to keep him out, just jab, and just not let Breedis get close.
Stephen A. Smith is the worst on the pads, by the way. Stephen A. Smith should not be allowed to hit pads. That shit is hard to watch. How you hit
on TV?
How do you hit pads wrong? Like, what punch is that? What was that? Like, what are you preparing to do? Fight a gnome? A hobbit? Why would the punch be coming from all over? How do you can? I understand that shit.
I see that fight being a hold fest, like you say. I mean, anytime anyone wants to go in the pocket on a Coley, he always holds on to people. So, I mean, I hate that. I used to hate watching those type of fights when he was fighting them. But when he started to use his wingspan and fight from distance and beat people up from long range, I started to say, okay, there's something in there. Like, I knew he had something in him, but when you watch fight after fight where he's just holding people, it is annoying. But I don't know if it's getting a better trainer. I don't think his trainer's that good.
No. We're not gonna do this. Shane McGuigan makes me proud, all right? With best haircuts in the whole of the UK. Excellent fucking trainer. I don't know if Shane has had enough time with him, because what you need for Breedis, you need to develop an uppercut, a real short uppercut, because he's going to crowd you. That is what he's going to do. You can't bank on keeping him out with the jab. You got to feint more to buy yourself a little bit more time, because he's going to get around the jab. You have to plan around that. Bro, he's going to get around the jab. Believe it.
Does
Straight
he
shots.
have the same? Does he have the same trainer as Dubois?
I was wondering that too.
Du-
Is that
Dubois,
the same- same-
Dubois is now with Shane. Yeah, Dubois is now with Shane.
You're going to see a difference. You're going to see a difference in them, boys. I'm trying to tell you something. You're going to see a
It's going to
difference.
be interesting. Yeah.
Dubois hasn't been with
I've-
Shane that long, so we can't say this and that, because remember, originally he went with Mark Tibbs. Then in the middle, leading up to the Dinu fight, then they sacked Tibbs and he went with Shane. So I don't even think he's had a full camp with Shane McGuigan yet. Give him time.
No, not yet. No. Yeah, I mean, you say he sacked Tibbs. I think Tibbs saw something and decided, I don't want to do this. So I think it's more the other way around.
I think Daniel's dad.
Dubois go.
Rob, what happened while all of that was going on? Who eye got smashed in?
Yeah, I get you. But
I
don't
think
know.
his dad.
I don't
No, honestly, I've heard things about his father, and I think as a father, let me put myself in Daniel Dubois' father's shoes. Yo, my son, I just got smashed in. Let's go to Mark Tibbs. Mark Tibbs fighter, I just got. All right, let's go to Shane McGuigan because I'm like, nah, we already dealt with this. If you couldn't, Billy just got his ass smashed in. This is the universe. It's talking to me. It's talking to me like, don't fuck with him. Fuck with Shane. Shane is, but I'm not. I'm not gonna say Shane is better than Mark, even though I have a very high opinion of Shane. But I honestly believe in my heart of hearts, Shane will make Daniel a better fighter. With Lawrence, it's a question of does he have enough time? Because you're talking about 2 fights. You're talking about the mandatory and then Breedis. Is that enough time to develop Okoli and develop a game plan to beat Breedis? Because jabbing and feinting and all of that ain't gonna be enough. You're gonna need to figure out what do you do when he gets inside besides clinching.
I think there's
I
already
think for
improvement
me,
personally on the inside.
the
think he's got
only
better.
thing that I'm not sure about when it comes to Daniel is that Daniel's still getting rid of these guys very quickly. And like we were all saying before, when you get rid of guys quickly, it doesn't actually tell you anything because after you go past a certain point, it's like the fighters are like shocked, like, okay, what do I do now? And that was probably the problem that he had when he was fighting the other guy that destroyed his eye. I forgot his name. What is his
Joyce.
name again?
Joe
Joyce.
Joyce. Joe Joyce.
Yes.
I'll
Yeah.
say this. Look, we don't read too much into the Bogdan-Dino fight because that was just a confidence building fight. That's just to get you back in the winner's bracket. He's about to fight one of the most dangerous American heavyweights American boxing has ever seen in Trevor Bryan. Right now, that fight is gonna.
I thought you were going to say Rice. I thought you were going to say Jonathan Rice.
By the way, I got Trevor Bryan by knockout in 1 round, and I got Bryan by knockout in the first round.
Right. We got Trevor the
I don't know
Tremor.
where you're getting all
Tre-
this. Where you're getting all this tape. Where you getting study from? I ain't even seen the guy.
We
What are you
have
talking
Trevor the Tremor Bryan, WBA heavyweight champion of the world, one of the most dangerous heavyweights I've ever seen.
When
He's
was the
about to
last time
fight-
he fought?
Actually, he fought less than 12 months ago against a very old Bermain Stavern. And understand me when I say, it was a fight. Like, they was fighting. So if you got the fight with today's version of Stavern, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just back on Shane McGuigan. What did you got? Did you guys check out all the Frampton shenanigans? Frampton pitching up to be, and then did you see he was in the room when Billum Smith was getting his hands wrapped? But it was
that
funny.
was so awkward.
Yeah, did you see? It was like if you pan around the room, if you zoom in on the photo, you got Barry McGuigan. He looks not impressed. You had Robert Smith, the British Border Control guy. He was just looking like, I don't even want to be here. This is this is tense. And then, but if you zoom in on Frampton, it looks like he's got his eye shut. So I tweeted out, Frampton's checking these hand wraps like JD's.
yo, dog. I seen that shit. I'm like, yo, I don't like why is Frampton there? Like, why are you even there, bro? Like they couldn't get somebody else. They trying to put you on the spot and put you in an awkward situation. Like, imagine what would have happened if there weren't cameras there. Shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's just that, those little marginal gains, if you can get inside the head. But look, Shane McGuigan and Billum Smith picked up the win, and they got the last laugh, right? So, it didn't work on this occasion.
People going to say what they're going to say about Chris. I don't give a shit. Whenever he fights, I'm entertained. I know he's not perfect, but he's fucking entertaining. CB fucking S.
Yeah.
Chris Billum Smith, motherfucker.
It was scrappy. Billum Smith couldn't quite. I thought he landed some cleaner shots, but it wasn't. I wasn't like mega excited, and people saying, "Oh, that was close. Let's see it again." Yeah, maybe let's see it again. Not next. Let these guys go about it, and they can come back and have another look at it. But I quite enjoyed the card last night. I thought it was a good start for the Zone in the UK as their first card, but yeah, I was just blown away.
For me, it was perfect. It was a great. For me, it was perfect. Remember, I'm in the States. I'm on the East Coast. that's a good afternoon card. It give me something to watch. Tell my kids to get the hell out of here and leave me alone, and I can sit down and watch it in the afternoon.
Yeah.
All right. So for me,
Yeah.
it was perfect. If there would have actually been a good, which is why I'm waiting for Top Rank to come back with some cards, because I'm like, yo, every time the PBC got the ball, look at what we get. Look at what like Dulorme versus what was it, Alexander? Like Rice versus Kofi. This is retarded. Like, nah, dog. Like, yeah, and that's why I said, like, I'm like this close to not, because this the shit. This is what aggravates me. Okay, so you've cornered the welterweight division, right? And that's, you know what? Fine. It's a cutthroat business. Fine. You've cornered it. Can I get Jamal James versus Keith Thurman? Or Jaron Boots Ennis versus Keith Thurman? Can I get that? Or can I get Jaron Ennis versus Yordanis Ugas? That's an excellent fight to me. That's an excellent fight. Can I get that? No, I don't get none of that. I get Ugas versus Fabian Maidana. Fabian Maidana.
What I mean, you know what, Ring? It's funny
Why
you said
the-
that because I've been feeling that like Virgil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis, they may stop Keith Thurman if they fight him.
May stop. Yo, look, dog. I got
They
cash money
do.
that they stopped
They do.
him, dog.
I mean,
They
because
stopped
Keith
him.
Thurman's he's doing an interview talking about like, oh yeah, I don't really know who Ortiz. I see he's okay, and he's trying to play off like he don't know who they are. It's like, bro, you know who they are.
And that's how that's how I look. Boxing is a small bubble. It's a small world, especially when you're talking about your domestic contemporaries. You're not going to sit here and tell me that you never heard of this dude. You never heard of Jaron Ennis. Come on, you scared, bro.
Stop.
You know,
Stop, bro.
you
He don't want it. He don't want it. He don't want to know what either one of them. Either one of them will knock out Keith. I guarantee that. Like you put Virgil, put Jaron in there with Keith, they will stop him. I'm telling you now.
I got $300 that Ennis will stop this motherfucker. He'll stop him. He's too big. He's too strong. He switch hits. He'll stop him. And I don't know that Jaron is even going to the point that I was making. I don't know that Jaron is going to be able to get fights over there because, look, Sean not just going to fight a dude like that. Danny not just going to fight a dude like that. Keith, forget it. He not just going to fight a dude like that. So it's like, yeah, you got most of the welterweights, but they, why are we hearing about Porter versus Garcia too? Or Porter versus, we should not be hearing about that. We should be hearing Thurman versus Ugas or Thurman versus Ennis. That's what we should be hearing. And that's not what we hearing.
Yeah, Ennis is in the who needs him club right now. He's going to have to become a mandatory, right? No one's going to willingly volunteer to.
He's working his way up. Ennis is working his way up. So he's getting up there.
Yeah, for sure. But I just think like the Thurmans, the Porters, they're of a certain stature that they ain't going to give this kid a.
But look. Derek Chisora is the prime example. Before I pass it to the Maestro, shout out to the Maestro. Before I pass it to him. You got to know your role. You got to value to have big fights, but there's risks associated with it. So if I told you, look, if I said it like this, like August 20th, Sean Porter meets Jaron Boots Ennis, brawl for it all. Yeah, I'm watching that shit. Of course I am. Or if I tell you, Keith Thurman returns to action against Jaron Boots Ennis, November 25th. Yeah, I'm watching that shit. But if it's going to be Ennis versus Lipinets, bro, Lipinets couldn't even beat Clayton. Fuck you gonna put really?
You know, Andre Berto is back in the top 10 with the WBA.
Of course,
I'm telling you. Look,
that's a joke. That's a joke, right? That's a joke, right?
No. The rumor was he was going to be facing Ugas, but unfortunately, Fabian Maidana got that call. But he's in the rankings for a reason because dude hasn't fought for 4 years. So
I thought he was retired.
He is retired. Maestro in the morning.
What's going on?
What's going on, bro? You see what's going on.
A busy few days slaying people on YouTube about different topics. And I honestly, I'm now of the opinion that, like, if people just don't get it, I'm not going to, like, waste my time and, get hoarse trying to explain to people that Canelo's no coward or all of this other crap. I heard that you were on the Boxing Voice and talking about it. I heard that through Mario, one of the co-hosts. I was co-hosting a lot the last 2 weeks, and more than on that channel was other channels. To be honest, I was on the H Money Boxing. Shout out to him. He's my brother here on YouTube. But I had a lot of Yeah, Mr.
Look. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I said it. Me and Nestor talked about it. Maybe a week before the fights collapsed, the 2 weeks, and I told him before that I'm like, yo, dog, like Caleb is the one who's standing to lose something. If Canelo leave, it's not a $50 million fight out there for Caleb Plant. You see what I mean? It ain't no fight out there that's gonna get you that 10.
But Plant's
don't.
Plant's the A side. But Plant's the A side.
I don't know if you guys have heard of-
Plan some pay-per-view star. He's the cash cow of the division.
Bro,
Plant's bringing the money.
where people get it, because I was talking to this dude, Reggie Owens, yesterday, and you know, it's like when you hit them with the facts, then they come out with the homophobic, personal attacks and all of this other stuff. It's like this, right? They're telling me that Canelo has to go to PBC and Fox, but that Plant does not have to go to the Zone. And see, what they don't understand is the basics of this, right? Canelo's asking for a guarantee, and they don't really understand the concept of the word guarantee. Guarantee means put something up that ensures that I get paid. So what he was asking for a replacement opponent. He was asking for Carlos Takam to AJ, who stepped in. He was asking for Andy Ruiz to AJ, who stepped in. He was asking for a John Ryder, who was ready to step in if Billy Joe decided that he wasn't going to fight due to the ring size. But you know what? PBC on Fox cannot guarantee that, because PBC on Fox needs to sell pay-per-views to pay their fighters. If Caleb Plant is not in there with Canelo, they can't generate money to pay Canelo. Therefore,
let me do this, Maestro, because this is what I believe. The boxing gods gave me a message, right? And what the boxing gods told me is that, one, it's not all about the guarantee. That's the first thing. It's not all about the guarantee. Something did not get put to bed, and that was the multi-fight shit, the one-off shit. I was told, and I'm not going to say by who, that shit never got put to bed, that it was going to be a one-off. So it's not all about the guarantee. That's the first thing. The second thing is, Maestro, use your head. If you're the PBC and you need Canelo for more than one fight, yeah, we'll make the Plant fight. Suddenly, Plant gets a hangnail. He steps on a Lego. He can't fight.
He got COVID. He busts a rib. He messes up his sweet hands that he already messed up before.
No. Go with the stood on some Lego. That was better.
All of a sudden, Canelo, what happened to the guarantee? Well, I thought you guaranteed 40 million. Oh, wait a second. You don't understand what a guarantee is, dog. Because
no, it ain't even that. They'll have him for more than one fight. Think back to the Pacquiao versus Jeff Horn fight. You know the Pacquiao loved his rematches. The Jeff Horn fight was the last fight of his top-ranked contract. And you would have thought, if you, Bob, or somebody, and I'm hypothesizing. I admit it. If you let's rob Manny against Jeff so we could get 2 fights out of Manny, and he has to sign another contract.
There's no hypothesizing usually when you're speaking to people that are logical, right? But the problem is that once you start hypothesizing, they start hypothesizing, and their hypotheses are all over the place. So, look, at the end of the day, right, Caleb Plant was offered a fight on DAZN. Caleb Plant didn't want to go to DAZN. I guess Uncle Al told him it's not a good move for the PBC, because I honestly don't see how going to DAZN, and there's no way he would have been earning any less than Billy Joe Saunders, wouldn't have been good for him in his career. But so he doesn't want to go to that side, but then Canelo gets blamed because Canelo doesn't want to show up on another network where if a guy pulls out, he gets no fight and no payday. So he just want to keep it on DAZN. Look, that's fine. People could disagree, but what I understand right now in boxing and on YouTube, there's a lot of sensitive people who have a lot of emotional investment in fighters, and more unfortunately in promotional outfits and TV production companies. And I honestly don't understand that. But it is what it is. This is why people tune in over here. I guess this is why I grow a little bit. I was at like 600 last time I called you. I'm up to like, what am I at today? 934. So I'm pushing towards 1,000.
Yeah, I'll be happy to help you with that. You know, I'm always happy to help. For those of you that are not subscribed to the Maestro, subscribe to the Maestro. It's good, balanced boxing talk for the boxing fan. What I'm gonna say is very simple, right? The people that are arguing these talking points, they're not paying customers, so I don't see them. I don't see no. Let me break it down. We are talking about what affects the world of boxing. Motherfuckers stealing shit is not affecting the world of boxing. The only guys you hear advocating for Canelo to go to PBC are guys that don't even buy pay-per-views. So I don't hear you and I don't see you. The second thing is, if Jose Ramirez could cross the street for Mighty Mo Hooker, why can't Caleb Plant cross the street for Canelo motherfucking Alvarez? Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Because
Jose
You know
Ramirez.
what's funny about all of this?
because
Yeah?
they believed Ramirez was going to win.
I literally had a guy tell me that he won't watch fights on the zone because he doesn't like their production quality.
Then don't watch him. You don't like.
Wow.
Then don't watch him. I didn't watch Michael Kofi last night. When I tell you a card is trash, it ain't so that I could stay up till 11 and 12 watching that shit. I'm not watching that shit.
Funny enough,
Ring, I trust your judgment, because I remember you said a while back that Dr. Tani versus Verdejo was going to be a good fight, and god damn it was.
I told you it was gonna be a good. Like I got like Fowler versus Smith is gonna be better than what we saw last night. Why? Because they're two guys that like to throw and they're not too far apart. Like I don't know, it's possible Smith outclasses Fowler. That's possible too. But it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good fight. And I know, look, I don't got nothing against Michael Polite Kofi, but that can't be the selling point for me. I'm old, bro. I'm almost 40. I get sleepy at 9. You got to give me something more to stay up than Michael Polite Kofi versus Jonathan Fried Rice. Like, nah.
Especially out here on the East Coast, it's like we need to be getting to bed at like reasonable time. Sometimes these pay-per-views start hella late over here. But let me ask you guys in the UK something, right? Because, you know, I was watching that fight last night, the Kanzu fight. I don't know if any of you guys saw it on the zone. You know, I'm a global person. I have a global outlook. And one of the things I like about YouTube is I could jump on with people from different countries like I'm doing right now and talk about the fights. So look, you guys tell me if I'm crazy about this or I'm taking this too far, right? I subscribe to a channel called Pep Talk UK. I guess they did something that, you know, made me subscribe or whatever. Now I'm watching this fight along, right? And these guys keep talking about that this is a championship fight and that, you know, Lee Wood is now the new world champion. And, you know, this is I think they're saying he's the second world champion from, I think, Nottingham or something like that. My question to you is, since when did we start on YouTube, actually? I understand these promoters and these networks do it. But since when do we start saying that regular WBA titles are like legit world championship fights?
They're not. Look, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with what. And I'm gonna just come out and say it. All right. At the end of the day, I like what Lee Wood did. He looked great. He did look great. He was in rare form. But at the end of the day, this is a Kansu that has not fought in 2 years. That is the truth. That is the whole truth. So don't act like 2 years of not fighting don't got something to do with it. Kansu did not look like himself. That's the first thing. The second thing is Kansu was the Reggie champ. And I know that we all pissed off at the WBA. I get that. But the full champion is Leo, not Kansu. Should Leo be the full champion? No, Leo hasn't fought at feather in 2 years. But that's the way it is. Absolutely. I'm not going to start recognizing Reggie belts because of the door that opens. That's why Javante Davis running around here picking up these Reggie belts, calling himself a chick.
Thank you. And then some of these guys are saying, oh, they probably think I'm a PBC guy. It's like, nah, I'm not a PBC guy. I'm a brother who's an independent thinker who's on YouTube, has his channel, and I want to talk to, you know, intelligent people that know about boxing. Now, this is the thing. I'm telling them in the chat, right? I'm like, guys, could you, like, why are you saying this is a title fight? Like, I get it, he's from England, but be serious. They come back to me that Alexander Povetkin was a world champ. So why
he wasn't?
He wasn't.
He had a regular belt.
It gets worse, bro. They come back to me with get this one, with that Lucas Brown was a world champion.
Bro, look. This is what I'm gonna say. those people that's like that, right? I'm not going to sit here and argue with their ass because that whole argument is deflated in one simple sentence. Does the WBO recognize Reggie belts? No, they do not. So if you want to have a unification match, can you bypass a mandatory with a regular champion? No, you cannot. And the proof of that was posted last week by none other than Paco Vericel himself, who said in plain English, we do not recognize secondary titles. And that's
And I'm
it.
so glad he said that. I'm so glad he said that.
All right. Lucas Brown was, and I like Povetkin, by the way.
Same
Povetkin wasn't
year,
a champion.
but Klitschko was the champ. And
Exactly.
Vitaly was the champ. Like, I'm sorry, he was the WBA regular title holder, and when he stepped up, he got his ass whooped by a great fighter. There's no shame in that. But
It ain't.
saying that he's a champ because he's not.
David Hay was a Reggie champ as well.
What we were going to say that the WBA super middleweight champion is none other than David Morrell. No, it's not David. It's not David, and it's not Davis, and it's not motherfucking Davis at 35 or 40, and it's not motherfucking Lee Wood at Feather. It's not like, and that's not a knock on Lee. But I already had that stance when it came to Golovkin. Why the fuck they saying you broke Bernard Hopkins' record when you did not break Bernard Hopkins' record?
Thank you.
You had a Reggie belt.
Or Monzon or Hagler.
But that's just a marketing tactic. That's all that was. It's a PR job. That's what that was.
So look, I don't know. Maybe I got to be a little bit more cautious with like my time and like trying to school. I was about to say something, but trying to school people. You know what I mean?
Everything you said is completely correct.
No. I'm gonna throw you a jewel, Maestro, because you're trying to raise your sub count. So I'm gonna throw you a jewel. One thing that helped me get a lot of subscribers is I will take those stupid comments, and I used to do something called the Q&A, where I take a stupid fucking comment and disassemble it and just do like a 5-minute segment to a 7-minute segment on that. You can use those moronic comments to educate people and have fun at the same time. Like, see, this is why you're a fucking idiot, because of bling bling blah bling blah blah bling, and you ain't got to get into a back and forth arc. Like, nah, you ain't got to do that. Just hit them with the facts and keep it moving. Because remember, arguing with somebody stupid makes you stupid. So don't argue. Don't argue.
100%. And it's a waste of my time, guys. It's like, look, first time I came on this channel, I'm like, okay, Ring IQ, he's got his shit together. Oh, this dude that's on the panel, he knows what he's talking about. Oh, that guy, he's cool. Oh, we got a lot of English people in here as well. Like, this is great. You know what I mean? Like, so but that's a really good way to approach it. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm brand new to the YouTube thing. I used to be on another channel, and let's just say things didn't go well over there. So I started my own stuff. Put out my own stuff. I've been doing it since like March, so I'm learning the game, and I appreciate you dropping that gem, Ring IQ.
Yeah, you use that, and put your own spin on it, brand it, in your own way, and use that as an avenue of opportunity to not only educate your subscribers but have fun and poke. Because that's what I did. I'm like, yo, if you're gonna leave me some dumb shit like that, I'm gonna capitalize on it, and I just did that for years. I stopped doing it recently because I'm like, well, I don't have to anymore. So I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to spend time on stupid ass comments unless they're real fucking stupid. Then I have to. And just use that. Let me read this super chat to answer Maestro's question. He's not a champ. It's BS. But Sue can, and I do agree with that. He should have been elevated last year because Leo hadn't fought at featherweight in over a year. So why is the WBA letting him hold on to that belt if he hasn't fought as a featherweight champion in well over a year? That's I do agree with that Kansu, see, they fucked up the division, and I'm gonna tell you how they fucked up the division. Eddie Hearn petitioned for Kansu versus Josh Warrington to be a unification match. He wanted them to elevate Kansu because Leo had already moved up and won the title at 130. The WBA said no. So since they said no, Josh had to fight his mandatory and Kid Galahad for a rematch. He didn't want to do that, so he dropped the title. He drops the title, and Mauricio Lara drops him. This is how we got here. And because of this, the featherweight division is still divided. When is the last time you seen a featherweight unified champion? Because I can't even fucking remember.
Oh, it's been a minute. I mean, and things are popping. 22 right below. Things are popping over there. 122. Things are popping at 130. Obviously, with the Burchelt fight with Valdez, that was great. So You know, and the featherweight is the premier division. You know what I mean? Sandwiched between those two kind of newer divisions. So you're absolutely right, Ring IQ.
Yeah, like they fucked it all up because that was Eddie's plan for a while to have Kansu elevated since Leo already moved up. He already fought Miguel Flores. We knew he was going to stay there for the Gervonta Davis fight. And the WBA, and I'm going to say it outright, they doing favors to the PBC because you let this dude keep that belt even though he don't even fight there no more, so that if he get his ass beat, he can move back down and still be a champion. And lo and behold, that's what he taught. I'm going to go back to 120. Why don't you just retire, bro? Why don't you do that? I don't want to see you fight at all.
There's one thing the PBC is also doing, like with the, especially with the WB, is like it's kind of crafty and clever. I'll give him credit for this because like Gervonta Davis, they're actually calling him a 3-division champion, if you can believe it.
Nobody qualify that shit. Like, who qualifies that shit? Nobody.
Well,
but here's my point: is because when Josh Taylor vacates, they could easily elevate Gervonta to be super champ.
They could until he gets a fucking mandatory stuffed up his ass. Of course they could.
Because I'm just praying to I don't know about y'all, but I'm praying to the boxing guys of like, boxing guys, please have the decency to put Gervonta Davis in there with Josh Taylor, because I'm telling you right now, if that happens, that's a trip. That's a trip to the hospital for Gervonta Davis.
Jay, I'm telling you, some Michael Kofi shit is gonna happen. Some Michael Kofi shit. I'm telling you, something gonna happen.
I'm actually about to watch
Josh
that
Taylor
fight.
will put him in. He will put him in the hospital.
Right now. I'm actually about to watch that fight right now. I DVR'd it.
It's gonna be some shit to where he's in a fight that he's supposed to be able to win because he get hit a lot. He got hit a lot in the Leo fight. He was getting touched up by Barrios. He get hit, and it's gonna be one of them fights where he supposed to be able to win, and he gonna slip because that's what been going on. That's what's Peter. Look. I don't think Peter Quillen was supposed to lose to Danny. I don't think he was. I don't think that. I don't think what's another one? I don't think Robert. I don't think Adam was supposed to lose to Robert. These fights.
No, he wasn't. Nope.
He wasn't supposed to lose to Robert. And these fights happen that throw the monkey wrench into the whole motherfucking machine. That we know who you behind. You're not behind Robert Helenius. You behind Adam Kovnowski. And you keep putting him in these that was a cherry pick. How you go from getting off of Joshua to fighting Areola and fighting Helenius? That's backwards.
Do you know one thing I'll say is he doesn't deserve that fight anyway. He's a Reggie champion. Like he needs to go and fight someone like Regis. Like he don't deserve to fight Josh Taylor. Like let's be honest. What has he done?
He won't fight.
That's an instant L. That's an L.
Bro, he won't fight Regis. Like, bro, Regis made
Regis to beat him too.
He won't fight that, and I'm telling you, look, he won't fight the Scotsman, and he won't fight Rougarou. He not gonna fight him, dog.
This is my problem with this level of cap for these Reggie champions, right? And these Reggie titles. What it does is it waters down the actual championships, and you get to the point where a Charlo's fighting a Castaño, and it's like not getting the appropriate amount of buzz, but where a Tank Davis is fighting a Mario Barrios, and they're pushing it like that's as legitimate. Like, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Sorry, go ahead, fam.
No, I'm gonna say this, Maestro. The buzz that you was in New York when Jada dropped "Kiss the Game Goodbye."
100%. Yep.
Now you remember what happened at the streets got the album before the record stores did, right? And you remember when Paid in Full, the streets seen that before the movie was in theaters. That's the buzz that Davis got. You got the free buzz that ain't worth a damn, because when we look at your pay-per-view buys, 215,000.
It didn't even do that much, did it? It didn't even do that much, did it?
Is that what that is? You a star? Nah, you're not a star. You got the free love and the free buzz and the fake buzz, because that's a fake buzz. They'll talk about you on Twitter. And on YouTube, your highlights will get views. But when it's time to pay, nah, they don't be paying, bro. 215,000 ain't shit. That's nothing.
It did less, right? Did it less than that?
I was told it did. Oh, go ahead, Maestro.
I'm gonna say even if it did, so I want to appropriately give my brother his respects. What's his name? The dude with the martial arts avatar, right beside Ring IQ.
Oh,
right?
That's Jay. That's Jay.
All right, Jay.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
Cool, bro. Thanks, Jay. The issue here too is that it don't even matter if it was 200,000. It might have been less, but that's still not very good. And this is what happens, right? Then I go on these channels where people or even on my channel, people started to come at me too about this. Oh, well, Canelo's a bitch because Canelo didn't take the pay-per-views, and the pay-per-views pay way more than the zone. Well, first of all, how do you know that? Secondly, when was the last successful PBC pay-per-view? Right? So essentially it's like this. I tried so many ways to explain it, right? I'll give you an example I gave, right? Because D-Sal actually gave it to me, and it makes a lot of sense because I'm working on a contracting project in my home, right? I go to one contractor and I say, look, I'll give you the regular, which is we pay half up front or quarter up front. We pay another quarter halfway through, and we pay the rest of the balance at the end of the job, right? Or I say, you know what? I'll say that I'll give you double the total amount of money, right? But I'm not going to pay you until the very end of the job. And at any moment, if I don't show up or if, I close down my apartment or if I move or whatever, you don't get paid anything at all. Only a fool would not take the guaranteed money.
Bro, let me put it to you this way.
That's a great analogy.
There's a proverb that I always use for that. I love the Bible, by the way. So much useful information. There's a proverb in there that adequately surmises this entire situation in one sentence. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Yeah. You don't know what's in the bush. What if it ain't no birds in the bush? You got a bird in your hand, though, right? You know that because you got it in your hand. You fucking around with that bush. What if it ain't a bird in there? What if it's a snake in there? Or a mongoose? You know what I mean? That's this situation. Canelo knows I got guaranteed cash, foreign arms of revenue on the zone. With y'all, with your maybe money and if money and pretend money. No. I need my money up front. I'm not Jermal Charlo. Yeah. I'm not Caleb Plant. I need mines up front because they give me mines up front. Y'all talking about some maybe and some if. No. I don't got time for that. I am Canelo Alvarez.
Thank you. And all Canelo's asking for is to be treated like his counterpart, AJ, who also gets the bag from the zone. Look, if I'm healthy, if I show up to fight, right, and another guy can't fight, that's not my fault. I did everything I need to do. I'm not wasting a 2-month training camp. I'm not wasting the time spent away from my partner or my kids. I'm not wasting that. So you find somebody, put his ass in the ring, and I'll fight him, and you pay me to do what I signed up to do. It ain't my fault that Pulev got hurt or got sick and can't fight. Find me another guy. Oh, thank you. You brought Carlos to camp. Let's get it on. It ain't my fault that Big Baby Miller popped for like 3 or 4 PEDs. I was ready to fight. So I'm going to fight, and you're going to pay me. Who do you got for me? Oh, wait. Kalnaki don't want the fight? Okay, that's too bad. Oh, wait, Luis Ortiz doesn't want the fight? Okay, wait, that's too bad.
You said it in your headline. He is because I saw your video. He's an elite athlete. This is what you have to do. This is what they do for Anthony Joshua. This is what they would do for Golovkin over there at the zone because they're a professional outfit that is run in a professional manner. You understand? Over there at PBC, look, I'm giving it to you straight. That's a mom and pop shop. That's a Cracker Jack outfit. That's what that is. Y'all just trying to bypass the Muhammad Ali Act. You having Tom Brown promoting all these shits, even though we know who got the contracts. Al got the contracts. I see your whole and look. I said it on the last live that these corn pole motherfuckers over there that they don't understand how this shit works. They don't see the swindle, or they see the swindle and act like they don't see it. Al don't pay me to do that. Nobody over there pay me shit. Now, if you want me to lie for you, it's gonna cost you. All right. If you ain't gonna pay me to lie for you, I'm gonna just give it to you straight. They hustling a lot of people over there. They hustling a lot of fighters over there. They hustling networks out of whole budgets because those networks don't even know shit about boxing. They don't know that Kofi versus Rice. You shouldn't waste money on that. No.
Let me ask the panel something real quick, right? Because this is what they came at me with. Well, PBC fighters, they don't go, and take fights at the zone. When was that ever happen? Like, why would that ever benefit somebody? That's a bad business move. I said, really?
Eddie Hearn is offered to pay several PBC billions of dollars. So
it ain't that. You about to make the point, Maestro. Was it bad for Andy?
Yeah, and was it bad for Andy? And by the way, if Caleb Plant refuses the DAZN bag, is it more or less likely that he's going to end up like Luis Ortiz, who didn't want to fight AJ, and like Kalnaki that didn't want to fight AJ? What happened to those two dudes?
Look. Was it bad for Andy? Was it bad? Let's run down the head count. Was it bad for Andy? No, Andy made multi-millions that he would have never made on PBC, that
And
he still hasn't made, that he
still in a rematch.
Right? 2, was it bad for Brian? No, Brian is a PBC fighter. He had to cross over to the zone to fight Patrick Teixeira. Was it bad for him? No, now he's in a position to make money. Whether he decides to fight Tim or he gets the rematch with Jamel, he decides he's in a position to make money. So no, it's not bad for Caleb. It's simple. The question is simple. Caleb, can you get 10 million without Canelo? You know the answer.
No. And they're like, oh, well, okay, I get that. Andy Ruiz went, but he's not a champion. We don't send champions, or the PBC doesn't send champions well, what about Charles Martin? Was he not a champion, or am I forgetting something with that one? Did he not get a huge payday to essentially go to not the zone at that time, but to fight AJ for the title?
I'm gonna put it to you another way. Before the zone even came into it, right? When Peter Quillen was the WBO champion and there was a buzz around him fighting Gennady Golovkin, what does he do? He prices himself out. You could have made more fighting Golovkin than you made losing to Daniel Jacobs. In the end, Daniel from Brooklyn, and I know Peter faked from Brooklyn too, but not really. Daniel had the fight that you didn't have, and he has benefited from that ever since. Because he lost, but he lost great. He got the Canelo fight on the zone. He got the Chavez fight. He about to get some Joe Smith Jr. money in next year, all right? He did it right. It's not you shouldn't be afraid to lose. Just go over there, put on the show. That's what you want to do. Lose and lose big. Because, after the fight, I don't agree with those people, but there were people that said they thought Daniel won the fight. And because of how he performed, he continued to be a fascinating character in spite of the L. So he gets the Sergey Devianchenko fight, he becomes a champion. Becoming a champion led him to the Canelo fight. The Canelo fight led him to the Chavez fight. The Chavez fight is going to lead him to a title shot at 175. Them guys at PB, they don't know how to move. You letting somebody else put all this bullshit in your ear. That's costing you money, because boxing is like drug dealing. You ain't going to have a long shelf life. Make your money while you can. Because this is not forever. This is not for you to be 60 and 70 doing this shit. It ain't.
Yeah, it's like people say they like the fighters. People say, they love boxing, but yet they don't even want the biggest superstars in the sport of boxing to get a quarter of what NBA players get, not even monetarily, but just rights-wise. LeBron gets injured, LeBron gets paid. LeBron's opponent gets injured, LeBron gets paid. NBA season gets locked down from COVID, LeBron gets paid. Look, at the end of the day, Canelo was not even asking to get paid if anything happened to him. He just wanted a guarantee that if he was ready, if he showed up, if he was going to fight, that he would have an opponent lined up. And they're
Maestro, you just said it. Canelo's not a Capricorn, but LeBron is. And we, the Capricorn society, make sure that we get paid. That's what we do. When it comes to Canelo, it's simple. I have come to you 3 times. I came to you late last year. I came to you earlier this year. I'm coming to you again for a fight in September, and you can't get the deal done. Now, the zone already made your fighter an offer to do the fight. Your fighter must not want it bad enough, because I'm Canelo. He's not. If I leave, all those millions, everything, it comes with me. It don't stay with him. You can't give me nothing. I have the Hennessy sponsorship. I put the asses in the seats. If you don't want to do this the way I want to do it, guess what? Let's do nothing and let your boy go lose to somebody for $2 million, because that's what'll happen. You'll lose to Davis.
He's not getting $2 million to fight Evgeny. I forget the last guy's name. The number, 3 ranked guy in the IBF. Come on, I mean, it's just funny, fam. It's just funny. So I didn't want to turn your talk here, because you guys do intelligent stuff. I didn't want to bring you guys down into the mud, but I just needed to express my views to people who could get it.
No, yeah. Like we've been talking about that shit. Like I started off talking about that shit because I'm like, look, what we have to remember as content creators is these guys, you can't like. I'm not gonna hate on nobody specifically, but I'm gonna just say this: you can have a channel that has 50,000 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers. Unless that 100,000 represents the paying public, it doesn't matter. The same way that bootleg CDs didn't matter to Jadakiss, right? Because he wasn't seeing none of that money. Them guys on 2/5 bootlegging his first album, he didn't see none of that money. So
That's a great analogy. Great analogy.
All that fake buzz, all that fake love, that shit don't count for nothing. I don't need to worry about what 50,000 free streaming, stealing motherfucker. Like, I don't care what y'all think. Y'all don't make a dent in the world of boxing because all you do is steal from it. All right? That's all you do. You steal from the shit. You don't want to buy nothing. I don't need to worry about what you think because the network executives don't care what you think. The platforms don't care what you think. The fighters don't care what you think because nobody benefits from you in any capacity. So why would I spend so much time on you? What you think don't matter. What I think matters because I pay for shit. I represent the consumer. So do you, Maestro. So do you, South London. So do you, Jay. We're consumers. They got to hear us. If I pay for shit and I'm telling you I want A, B, C, and D, you got to listen to me. You ain't got to listen to him. He ain't going to buy it anyway. If it's on pay-per-view or if it's on DAZN, they ain't going to buy that shit anyway. Who the fuck cares what you? Nobody cares what you want. Period. Now on
Great
that,
point. Yeah.
I'm gonna end this live, and I'll probably do another one later on. Gentlemen, always a pleasure.
All right, let me just shout out my channel one more time, brother. Maestro A Boxing on YouTube. Check me out. You can also find me on the Boxing Voice with Nesta Gibbs Monday to Friday this week. But I got my own channel too, so like my shit, subscribe to it. Well, like it if you like it. I'm not saying you gotta like it, but definitely give me a listen and subscribe.
All right,
yes,
gentlemen.
Sir. I'm on it.
Always a pleasure.
Appreciate it.